what makes an object show channel a content farm, or what makes a BFDI channel a BFDI content farm? Now, I think there's a couple of qualities or aspects or traits at play here. Usually, when you think of a content farm, you think of kind of like Lanky Box or something like that, where they post like stuff about trending not like stuff about trending topics, but like they recycle the same kind of weird editing style video over and over again. That's pretty low quality, but instead of it being like the same topic, which usually it is the same topic, but not only that, it's kind of like the same video. You can think of for a BFDI example, you could think of a YouTuber like BFDI animation. You could definitely call that kind of like a content farm. Like, just kind of mass producing content that isn't really, you can't really call it content. It's just kind of like slop, you know what I mean? But look, I'm not going to hate on these guys is because I don't, like, what they're doing isn't really harming people. You know what I mean? So, there's no, like, real issue with it. I just kind of want to discuss the gray area between what is a content farm and what's not a content farm. And we're specifically talking about BFDI ones in this video. Now, this can kind of tie into the BFDI brain rot video that I made, is because you can kind of call some of the stuff that I mentioned in that video content farming, or like those things could play into a content farm, is because I think BFDI content farms in specific were very popular like last year, but I think due to the explosion of like just a bunch of drama in like this summer with everyone getting like exposed and stuff, I think people kind of slowed down on that. But still, like, even when they were at their peak, there were a lot of channels that you can call a BFDI content farm. But now it's a little bit more brain rot in the community. But yeah, like, I'm going to be honest though. I'm going to be completely honest. And a couple of comments on my last video actually highlighted this too. Every community kind of has these kinds of channels, you know what I mean? Like, just kind of leeches off of it. You know, you could say that BFDI animation or that Benji guy who made that BFDI song, you know, could contribute to that. You know what's funny? You know what's funny? Something that I kind of realized is that, like, the Benji BFDI song is kind of like the KSI song before the KSI song even dropped. Like, I think that's pretty funny. It's because people hated it for like similar reasons. Like both of the songs were both of the songs were kind of corny and like very upbeat, and they didn't really like the reason why they were made and how they were made is just kind of humorous. Like that Benji guy who made the BFDI song, I can guarantee you that dude probably watched like a few episodes of like BFDI the first season and just called it a day. And like with the KSI song, do I even have to explain that? You know what I mean? So I think that's just kind of a funny comparison. But yeah, like I said, you could argue that, you know, when he was making BFDI videos, you know, you could call that kind of like a content farm, or you could even say that for like his current videos. But we're not going to be talking about, we're not going to be going over anyone in specific. We're just going to be going over the aspect. And I think a lot of what could make a channel a content farm is one, there's a couple of things that could go into this. There's a couple of key factors. One, the upload schedule. Two, the topic of these videos. And three, both the format and the style of these videos and how they're kind of presented. So, when it comes to the schedule, usually these content farm videos are posted very, very often, like once a day, or like 2 times a day in some cases. Which, if you're a YouTuber, you kind of want to stray away from making multiple videos a day. Like, maybe when you're kind of starting out and you're like a really small channel, but like, you know, you don't want to oversaturate your channel as well, you know what I mean? You usually want to post like at the most once every day, you know what I mean? But like, that's at the most. But yeah, man, like some of these content farm channels are like posting multiple times a day, right? Like, you could argue that like Lanky Box does that, like it posts like 1,000,000 times a day. And there's, like, I don't think, like, when it comes to BFDI channels in specific, I don't think a lot of those channels post multiple times in one single day. At the most, it'll be once a day, but like sometimes it's just like once a week or something like that. But yeah, like I said, a good example of this would be BFDI animation with the 1 hour long videos. Some people suggested Riomations. I don't know if he's exactly a content farm. You could say that he is. You could say that he's not. I think he falls into more of the brain rot category of the BFDI community. But you could argue that he's both or just one of the two. But, yeah. And like I said before, these channels aren't really harming anyone with with this type of content. It's just, you can make the argument that it's kind of a lazy content style. You know what I mean? To make, or like a lazy video style to make. You know what I mean? Is because it's just kind of like, it's like the videos are looping over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So, that's another argument that you can kind of make. And I do believe that, I don't think anyone, I made this argument in my last video. I don't know if anyone actually watches these channels for these channels specifically. You know what I mean? Okay, look. So, for an example, right? Like, there was a YouTuber by the name of Brazo, right? And he had gotten into a back and forth with another YouTuber by the name of Cheeto. Now, Cheeto made the argument that because of Brazo's content style, no one watched Brazo for his channel in specific. They only watched him for news about celebrities. And no one watched him for Brazo's own personal, personality. And if you're going to be a commentary YouTuber or a YouTuber that just kind of likes to talk about things, right? You kind of want to add, personality into those videos. Is because, you know what I mean? You want people to like your channel, and this ties into the BFDI content farms and the BFDI brain rot channels, right? You want people to watch your channel for you specifically. You want people to watch your channel for the stuff that you do and the things that you say in your videos, like your character, if you have one, that kind of stuff. You want people to enjoy your channel for what you can bring to the table, not just for the kind of content that you make. It's because if that's the case, they can just go to any other channel, right? You don't really stick out. But you want to stick out in a good way. Let me emphasize that. You want to stick out in a good way. That comes with making an object show too, that kind of stuff. You can make that stuff, but if you want it to do well and you want it to stick out, you want it to stick out in a good way. You don't want it to you don't want people to notice something that you make for being bad. You want people to notice something that you make for being good. Or being like a show that you made to be entertaining, or your videos to be entertaining for your personality in them, right? And I think, that's something that, if you're going to consider making, a brain rot channel or a content farm channel about, BFDI or whatever, I don't know, it might not be the best idea, is because you have to understand that, it's just, people might not watch you for your videos. I mean, like I said, this is, now for now, in the current day of the OSC, these channels aren't that common. But back then, you know what I mean, there were definitely a lot of them. And when it comes to people watching your videos, you want people to watch your videos for what you can offer in them, right? You want people to watch your videos for your specific channel. Is because, that helps you out, and you know what I mean, if you want to be able to entertain people, that's a good way to do it. You know what I mean? That's probably why a lot of YouTubers use, that's probably why, a lot of OSC YouTubers use characters in their videos, so they can, stick out in a good way. People are, they're known for those characters. Now, I haven't really used a lot of my characters too much in my videos, and I'm probably going to start doing that pretty soon. But, that's a good way to grow a more loyal and stronger audience that might resonate with the character that you made and just that in general, right? And basically, what I'm trying to get at here is that is the main flaw that a lot of these channels may have. Or that's the main thing, that's kind of the main con when it comes to making a content farm / brain rot channel, as, you know what I mean, you're not going to have a real audience. You're not going to have a real loyal audience. It's just not going to happen. You know what I mean? Because it's, it's essentially slop content. And you gotta kind of use that term pretty lightly, but still though. You know what I mean? Like, it's because there's definitely a fine line when it comes to that, like those kinds of videos and that kind of content. But I'm not going to waste you guys' time too much. I just kind of wanted to voice my own opinion and to also have this serve as kind of a part 2 for the previous video so I can kind of go more in depth on that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel, as I am trying to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. But yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried. Have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried. Have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried. Have some more chicken, have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried.